Gotcha.
All right, well, hello and welcome to a race first coverage of the Fuel Series here. This is from Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course, our hometown, Gary. Um, can't say it's like my favorite course, but it is one of my favorite courses. It's like one of my best, honestly. Because I've just done so many laps here. So certainly one of my favorites. 14 corners here, a little flat. A lot of drivers complain that it doesn't have any elevation change, but hey, it's a roval, and so unless you're talking New Hampshire roval that has a road that goes outside up and over a hill, you're not going to have very much elevation change other than the banking of a roval. So we're here tonight. A lot of these drivers, I think they're also very familiar with these places. Certainly, we've got Robert McGinnis, we got Kyle Kaiser in the field, very familiar with these places, having driven it in the Road to Indy. And do you have anything to say, Gary? Or are you ready? Or I can
Yeah,
keep.
I am
Okay.
ready. Tonight, I think today is going to be a close race all the way around through the entire timed race. It will be very close. So the one reason why you said it. A lot of people race this track a lot in iRacing, on iRacing. Of course, you see it raced twice in the IndyCar season. And that was kind of a novelty now, kind of boring now to watch it do it twice here, but I understand why they do it twice. But since they're on it so much, I mean, it comes to mind like some of those other road courses that everyone likes to race on here, like Watkins Glen and Spa, that everyone is on it so much and it's so memorized that when it comes to racing, I think everyone will be pretty close to be on one on top of one another through the entire time. So we'll see. Stay tuned. We'll see if that actually turns out to be the case. We got a slightly bigger field than we've had in the past, so that's good. And
Yeah.
bigger turnout normally means more action.
That's right. So we're currently provisional pole sitter is our driver who's won the first two rounds of the season, Robert McGinnis, and then TJ Thompson in P2, Will Salisbury. Will is back this week. No more internet issues like the previous week. And just to mention, so upcoming season of IndyCar, we will not have two Indy road courses. So I think that's a positive thing. Going back to with what you said. I'll make one comment though regarding that is actually I'm a little confused here. Was that practice or was that qualifying? Because
I think practice is starting now.
oh no, qualifying. I thought we were in
Or qualifying,
qualifying.
sorry. Qualifying is
Okay,
starting now.
okay, yeah, that
They
was
can give
weird.
them some extra time of practice there,
I
I think they
see.
said at the
Okay,
end there.
that tricked me up there. So we were actually starting pretty early then. I thought that was qualifying. But I was gonna say that if they tweaked the road course and did two races somehow, like run the oval turn one for one of them, then I think I would have been for having two rounds, or run that Indy bike one that everybody hates, but I like, but that's just for the memes. But yeah, that's how I'd do it. So yeah, what I said previously about Robert McGinnis being on provisional pole was incorrect now, so we are just starting qualifying here. Sorry for the mix-up. Couple drivers making first-time appearances this week, although I think one of them is not here, so he's not going to make that first-time appearance this week. It might be next week. But we've got Brendan Burkhoff making his start for the Brawl Chassis Works. Let me make sure we've got him on the camera. Here we go, coming out of the pit lane. Yeah, he's filling in. Drew Carroll is out this week. And the other item to mention, and I better make sure to get the right one, although I don't think he's here either, is so Max Butler we've got on the track, but oh, okay, there, I just saw him just now. So Joe Butler, there we go. He had a birthday yesterday, so happy birthday to Joe. Brothers with Max had that confirmed just a moment ago. I assumed as much that two drivers with the last name Butler are on the same team, that they'd be brothers, but I guess you never know. Just kind of getting some feel for the cameras out here.
Yeah. And we've seen a lot of guys are trying to make up a lot of extra time in that first infield section. A couple of power drifters already.
So I was going to mention, I might have mentioned this last week or last race that we covered, Gary, but I've had a little bit more experience with it. But seriously, the grass is like way grippier now, and since the last build. If you happen, it used to be like ice, right? Now it is like you can. I mean, it's still like you don't want to be driving on it, but you can usually kind of drive the car and get it back on track. It's not instantly into the tire barrier, like you're in Minnesota and you need snow chains. So watching Robert McGinnis set his lap here, first one across the timing line, 41.9. Slightly slower than his practice time, but that's gonna set kind of the provisional pole for everybody else to get a look at here. Nick Leo there with the Sad Boys team coming in about a half a second back, 4/10 back in P2. And Matt Escajeda there in P3. Kind of a fancy livery on that car. I think that is, and I need to have that up, but I believe that is the Virtual Carbon Racing, which...
Nice. Yeah, that's a good looking car.
Yeah, I'd say they did some good things on there.
We got McGinnis on the pole currently with about 10 minutes left. Now, when everyone completes their 3 laps, they'll forward on the session. But McGinnis on the pole with a 141.9. Leo right behind, minus 4/10. Whoa, Salisbury to the pole that time by 141.8. So 0.059 is the difference between himself and McGinnis. So we have a new provisional pole sitter at the moment.
I was watching him coming into turn 1 road course there, and you just it's different seeing these cars compared to, we're usually open wheel with these like super stiff rigid suspensions, but just how that car, the front end, just dips when they hit the brakes really hard. It's just kind of a different look. I mean, it's when we watch NASCAR in real life driving here on the road course, it's like that too, where the front end, like the splitter, just like it's on the ground when they hit the brakes. And I was just watching him do that at the fastest point on the track. So Will here is kind of the Penske team here, because he's the owner of the series, but then driver, and he's running for his own team with the Fuel team. So maybe a better example would be like Ed Carpenter, but I guess yeah, driver, owner, that kind of thing. Yeah, really tight there at the front. Brendan Burkhoff, so he's making a one-time appearance here. He will not be a regular, but he's setting some fast pace here so far tonight, showing that he belongs here every week. But unfortunately, from what I understand, he does work every week, or usually on Tuesdays. Had a convenient off this week and was able to join the team for this week. Just having a look back through the field. Another Sad Boys driver in Zach Hudson here. A little bit different livery for him, so they're not, as a team, all driving the same livery. I mean, they're similar, but they're not not the same. Kyle Kaiser there going P3. And I see that Will Salisbury, I think he set a faster time. And actually, they've jumped Robert McGinnis and their speed. I think Robert might be done with his qualifying. He's just sitting at the end of pit lane. Can't tell. Let me see if I can figure out. Click around to see if he's done his 3 laps already. It looks like he's got one more.
It looks like most everyone has their 3 laps in. Still a couple still on the track. Salisbury's on the track. Brendan's on the track. Kaiser's on the track. Showing one of his best runs of the season qualifying-wise at the P3. McGinnis still on the track, and Thompson still on the track. We got about plenty of time still left to play. Still got about 6 minutes, 50 seconds left to play here. And I think we're seeing these guys putting in their last couple of laps here before we wrap this up. But a 10-minute time to qualify is a lot of time around here. Even though 140 a lap is quite a long time, but 10 minutes still is more than generous here to get these guys in that time frame. But I think we're down to about 3 more cars left on the track: Salisbury, Kaiser, and McGinnis.
Yeah, at the end of the day, with how close these guys drive in these cars, all all very similar. Like, there isn't really much they can change on any of this. So qualifying isn't really the biggest deal here. Like, we've seen that in the first 2 races we've seen, and I think it'll be even less of an importance here. I think there's a lot of passing opportunities here in these particular cars. Because, I mean, we saw there at Phillip Island a track that you wouldn't think that would have a lot of passing, but they almost had no issue with it there. I think Robert McGinnis only car on track at the moment.
Yeah,
or he just sitting at the end of
he just sitting at the pit right there, and I think Race Control just said that they are 30 seconds, about 20 seconds ago, so it should be about another 10 seconds or so. They will forward on the session. We will get 13 cars lined up to go racing. And I'll try to get you a starting lineup here.
Yep, so 40-minute race coming up with 15 minutes into the race. We do have a competition caution, 1 required pit stop. All the drivers should take that required pit stop before the caution.
Yeah, and I'll be listening to race radio, so I'll keep you up to date. And when the pits are open, the pits don't open until Race Control says so, and then Race Control will say they were closed. So there's kind of a cadence to that, and I'll keep an ear open so we can expect to see people diving into the pits.
You want to go through the grid?
Sure. So starting on the pole with that 141.5 is Will Salisbury, the Race Control. Then Brendan, and I hope I'm saying this right, Beercroft, right? Beercroft?
I was saying Burcroft. I might have.
Okay, sorry, Brendan, if we butchered it. I am a master butcher. You don't know. And the number 68 qualifying P2 at 141.6 Cal Kaiser, guy who's actually been in this track real life. From the he says he's from Club New England, so he's number 88 P3. Rob McGinnis, our points leader, not getting on the pole again this time, but he will definitely be involved in this race. He is qualified P4 at at 141.952. TJ Thompson, P5. Nicholas Leo at P6. Moving on a little bit to midfield, Escajeda. He was among the leaders that we've seen the last couple of weeks. Expect a good race from him. P7. Hudson, P8. Butler, P9, and that's Max Butler. Andrew Sauter, P10. Joseph Butler, P11. And Jackson Ball in P12. And I think we have one more running shotgun on the field. That's Howard Rodriguez, starting P13, the 145.4. And then number 21, taking a leisurely approach at qualifying. I think he knows there's a long game here to be played, so no intent to rough it up and get up into that mid-pack or up front where you're going to start roughing each other up. Just let it all happen in front of you.
Yeah, he's one of the Sad Boys drivers, so I think he's here. He's just going to get points. If one of his other teammates gets knocked out of here, then he'll be there. He'll be safe and out of trouble, hopefully, is what I think Howard would be thinking about strategy-wise. So, long pace lap here. Anything we want to talk about? Any sponsorships we want to talk about, if you got any of that ready?
Sure. We're being brought to you by 2 sponsors today. First of all, is Prio Rim. Prio Rim provides complete rim protection against curb rash, pothole damage, and imperfection to your wheels. By installing Prio Rim Technologies, you have a choice of 9 different colors to choose from. Prio Rim is offering a set of their industry-leading rim protectors to the driver's champion of the 2023 Fuel Series. The champion will get a joyous free set of Prio Rim Technology to protect their personal vehicle from now till whenever they want to stop using them, I guess. Also, joining us today for the first time is a longtime partner of ours. That we used to see it on the Monday Night Indy Fixed, as well as some other broadcasts we did, and that's the guys from 4D Racewear. Check out 4D Racewear and their line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com. I'm assuming their link is in the description, so click on that link in the description today and check them out.
And if it's not, we will get that set up. That's, sometimes we're doing it live here on the Race First channel. But yeah, we're setting up. Gonna have a really good 40-minute race here. And thanks to anybody watching. We got about a couple of handfuls of viewers out there. Hopefully no drivers watching the stream on like their side monitor, though. I always have to mention that. That's not I don't know, maybe some younger people could do that, but certainly not me.
Could not do that. Well, of course, I'm in VR, so that's
there you go. Yeah.
Well, make sure while you're watching, before we get to the start-finish line here, because we do have that infield portion of Turn 1 we still have to complete. Make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Share it with a friend. Help the algorithm get more people here to watch racing at Indianapolis as we are getting ready to go green.
Yeah, and so here at the start, it's a very late green flag here. Like much later than they go, well, maybe they go for the initial start in IndyCar, they go pretty late, but on the restarts, they start them real early. And here we go.
Picking up speed, waiting for the green flag.
Green.
It is in the air, and
I feel like they went a little early.
Racing.
I feel like they went, but it was all, I don't know. Heading towards Turn 1. Really easy to make a little bit of contact here into Turn 1 Indianapolis. And we've got it. 3 wide. We've got, I think that's Brendan Burkhoff getting a welcome to Fuel Racing here.
Turning that Toyota into a bit of a lawnmower right there. So the infield portion of Turn 1.
And just like that, we've got Robert McGinnis into P2. Our timings and scoring won't update until the end of the lap, though, unfortunately.
Down the Holman Straight. This is a road that runs right down the middle. It's been there forever, but they turned it into the back straight of the road course. Holman Straight, Holman Boulevard there at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And then making that turn into the infield. We're starting to get into the area where they have the Hall of Fame Museum, which will be closed for the next 2 years just about for renovations. That's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, that museum does need renovation, so it's a good thing they're doing that.
It screams 1970 when you walk into that place.
It really does, yeah.
But according to the concept, so what they're going to show for when they're going to reopen it in 2025, looks very interactive.
Very nice. So I know I was talking maybe to you or somebody else a while back. We've got.
For the pits early.
Are we?
3 cars diving for the pits.
We've got a strategy taking place here. I think that they just want to get that required pit stop out of the way, and it's like all the sad boys appear to be doing that. Yeah, all the sad boys and
we got a couple in the meatball.
Couple meatballs.
Pit road as well.
Yep.
Leader is Salisbury, McGinnis, and Thompson. Top 3 going into Turn 1, hitting back into that infield portion.
Yeah, so it's just kind of McGinnis. He went for it at the start, got up to P2, but now it's just kind of, kind of pacing yourself until that competition caution comes out. But what I was going to say, Gary, was that, so next week we are at Barber Motorsports Park. That is where we're going to be racing next week. But that has a really awesome museum that, I was always hoping that, hey, Roger, just go head on over to that museum, get some ideas for what the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum could be. And sounds like they're going to do something like that at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Hall of Fame Museum.
Yeah, it sounds like they're going to utilize, well, first of all, they're going to utilize the basement, which is something that very few people have ever got a chance to see. There's a lot of, many more cars down in that basement than you see upstairs. But it's going to turn into a bit of an interactive kind of inside. If you've been a long-time resident of Indianapolis, you've ever been to the Children's Museum where everything's a lot of interactive, hands-on, very tactile. That will be a lot of what you'll see at the when they renovate the Speedway Museum. You get to do looks like change a tire on a pit stop, try to some of that stuff that I think NASCAR actually does in their Hall of Fame. So in this case, I don't mind copying NASCAR. It sounds like a lot of fun. The place has been, I think it opened in 73, 74, 75, somewhere in there, maybe 76. But yeah, it just, like I said, when you walk into the place, it just still screams the 1970s. Badly needs an update, and the fact that it's going to be closed for kind of almost 2 years is going to tell you the amount of work they're putting in there. But Salisbury is your leader, 36:02, now 36 flat left to play. The pit road is open. We don't know when it's going to close quite yet. Salisbury, McGinnis, Thompson, your leader. Kaiser, Beercroft, Escajeda, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Still spread out. Don't forget, we do have a mandatory caution coming up here at some point during the race that will shrink this field back up. So these big leads are almost for naught right now.
Yeah, so Zach Hudson just... okay, Leo is the top of the cars that have pit. So looking at that, Jackson Ball is kind of last of the cars that did not pit. One thing I was going to note, Gary, I had a little joke for you. We'll see if you enjoy this one. But I don't know if I can really get it out correctly. But you said something about the Children's Museum, and then there was the Racing Museum. And I was thinking about they could bring the Children's Museum part where you're digging for dinosaur bones for the NASCAR part of the museum. How about that? Okay, well, that's all I got for tonight.
Our careers that got buried, yeah.
So, yeah, there was a lot of depth to that joke. So, anyway, we've got Robert McGinnis is like almost giving a little bump draft to our leader there down the front straightaway here into turn 1 into turn 2.
So the 5-minute call for the pits has been made. So the pits should be closing here in the next lap or 2.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think really Robert needs to kind of do much of anything here. He might have just set the fastest lap of the race though. He did a 41.2, which is like 4/10 faster than qualifying. So maybe the speeds will come down, but we'll see at the end of this race. So with the low fuel. So looking back to the cars that have pit, we've got a couple of teammates in the Sad Boys, Zach Hudson and Leo.
Yeah, they're the first two out.
Yeah, so they've swapped. So I wonder if there's any strategy in that, or they're in their own team.
And here comes Salisbury into the pits. So McGinnis is going to try to jump him with his lap that he's going to turn all by himself here.
I will say that this is a tricky pit entry, in my opinion. You don't really see anybody mess it up in IndyCar in real life, but in the sim here, I've had a speeding penalty here with just how quickly that comes up. Maybe a little bit easier here with these cars since you're not really driving like super fast into that, but certainly something to keep an eye out. And I guess at the end of the day, because of that competition caution, even if you got that penalty, you're just going to be cycling to the end of the field. So Robert McGinnis taking the lead here. TJ Thompson, pretty large gap, about 4 seconds back to him. Brendan Burkhoff in P3, about 8 seconds back from the leader to him. Escajeda, P4. Yeah, when we get that competition caution, this will just get the field all back together. We'll see where Will's already on track, significantly ahead of the teammates back here who are battling in through turn 2 side by side. Right in front of Kyle Kaiser, who's looking to take advantage. Yeah, this is probably the best battle we have on the track. Two teammates that they're trying to give us a good show. Meanwhile,
and here comes McGinnis into the pits.
Kyle Kaiser's trying to take advantage of these teammates. He's just passed Hudson. Now we'll see. So TJ Thompson stayed out. I think there is a bonus point for leading a lap, so always good to lead a lap if you can. Yeah, we're going to see where Robert McGinnis comes out versus Will Salisbury here.
And current biggest gainer, because there's another point there involved in the championship, and that Jackson Ball up 7 spots to P5.
Another one of the carbon drivers here with that. I'd say, I shouldn't probably say this as a broadcaster, but that's the best looking car in the field, in my opinion.
We're allowed to have preferences when it comes to livery. Just can't show preferences when it comes to driver.
Correct. There you go. I like that, Gary. So Robert McGinnis out of the pits. He's got a pretty good sized gap ahead of Will Salisbury there. Looking at pit times, Robert McGinnis got in and out 3 seconds faster. Time in the box was 3 seconds less for McGinnis. So he might have been doing a short fill. We'll see how that works out for him later on in the race. I mean, he might figure, so there's the iRacing auto fuel calculator. That auto fuel calculator isn't going to know about, maybe everybody else is doing auto fuel, or maybe Robert's thinking, I can, take a gallon out of this because we're going to be driving behind the pace car for 2 or 3 laps. So
Thompson to the pits, I believe. Who else to the pit there?
Burkroff going to lead that lap, it looks like.
Burkroff leading, yeah. TJ Thompson to the pits.
Escajeda in the pits.
We might have some people that sped that are back in. I saw a black car. Okay, there's Escajeda. He is on pit road. I thought he already pitted.
No, I think his position.
This is the first time pit. Okay, yeah. And his teammate, Jackson Ball, also on pit road.
Best battle
is your leader.
Best battle on the track, though, is for 6th position, though, or 7th position between Kaiser, Hudson, and Leo. They're running the the down to the attenuator pit wall line on the front straightaway.
And they're going to go 3 wide in the 1 if they don't shuffle it out here. 2 wide in the 1. What the heck?
I was talking with Caleb a week or so ago. We were talking about, we've had, we always have occasional run-ins with somebody, but me and Caleb have only ever had one time because I'm not usually racing around him, but it was one time where we had a little bit of net code into turn 2 and I got spun around because I was on the outside. So that was kind of a memorable moment here for me here that was in FIS, probably the 2nd time we ran it here at Indianapolis Road, which would have been the old layout, not this one. I think we only ran this one once before FIS ended.
Yep. And that's the Formula Indy series. That's all on the channel. You can check out those past races on the playlist.
The best IndyCar series, in my opinion. Very biased. Okay, Burkroff in the pits. So I'm assuming, so the pit comes at 15 minutes. We're currently 12 and a half minutes into this, so it's probably at the end of the next lap. I was hoping that Brendan got the memo about being required to pit, and it appears that he has, so. I mean, I guess everybody knows by fuel. They don't have enough fuel to make it to the end, so
Pits
everybody's...
will close in 1 minute. I think
Okay.
he made a 5-minute announcement, and then he made another 5-minute announcement. So I'm not sure what was going on there.
Race control might have made a little...
You just made a 1-minute announcement. So if you're watching from home, you're like, Gary said they're closing the pits like 10 minutes ago. They're still pitting. Yeah, I'm just going off what race control is saying.
Yeah, I was a little like, we were about 5 minutes into the race, and we're like, I was like, that does seem a little early, but if he said that, then maybe that's what they're doing. But hey, that's where we're at, and we're going to get this field all close together again. Best battle on the track, though, is this battle for 7th position. So we're just going to keep these sad boys on the camera here. They have both gotten around Kyle Kaiser once again, though. That's why it's good to be teammates. Oh, man, really deep into the end of turn 7 at the end of the Hallman Straight was Kyle Kaiser. Ooh, and he just... Oh, we got a little bit of contact there between these two drivers, Hudson and Kaiser. That's just allowing Leo to get away, but that's going to be short-lived with the caution coming up.
Pits are closed.
There we go. So, we did fix the... I should be able to pull people up into this. We'll see what happens when I actually do it, but who should we do a pit, the competition caution interview with? Give somebody else a chance. Maybe one of these sad boy drivers who was battling out with Kyle Kaiser out there. Maybe I'll bring Zach Hudson. I think we've talked to Leo. There is
the caution right at the 15-minute mark of the race. 24 minutes left to play, and so we have the full course caution. Now everyone's got to get queued up behind that pace car, safety car, whatever, and pace car. It's a pace car here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, folks, and that's where it's invented. And we will once we get queued up behind that, they'll do the 2 or 3 laps behind that, and then we will go racing once again. But we just got to get queued up here. Real quick on the points situation, we have not really talked about that. The McGinnis is your leader by 36 points over Escajeda. So Escajeda gained 3 spots last week to go up to P2. Nicholas Leo is P3 in the standings. Salisbury is P4. And Drew Carroll is P5. Carroll not in today's race, so he's in a battle with TJ Thompson. TJ probably will pass him now. Yep. By virtue of just starting the race.
Do you have the team points by any chance? Because I can bring those up as well. I can read them off a little bit, though. Feline Speed Syndicate in P1. That is Robert McGinnis on that team. Blanking on who the other driver was. I think it's... if I saw his name on here, then I would know it. I think Andrew Sauter, I think, was one of the other drivers.
Yeah, Feline team is McGinnis, Sauter, and Cosgrove.
Cosgrove's not here tonight, but yeah. So then Team Sad Boys in P2. The Sad Boys is they get the entire team shows up to every race, so they're doing good in that respect. And then the Virtual Carbon in P4 and Brawl Chassis Works in P5. So, and I think P4 was Brawl Chassis Works. Team Fuel, I think that is solely Will Salisbury there in P5. But yeah, that's our team points. We've got it on the screen. But yeah, I'm going to bring up...
Yeah, bring someone up.
I'm going to bring up... We'll see... I'm going to bring up Zach Hudson. Give him a chance. Hey, Zach, this is me and Gary up in the booth. Got a copy?
Got a copy. How's it going, guys?
Hey, we're doing pretty good up here, but you and your teammate and Kyle Kaiser had a great battle, probably best battle on the track in the first, quarter of this race, whatever it was. But tell us how it looked from your end. You had a little bit of side-by-side contact with Kyle there too, so.
Yeah, no, we Kyle and I bumped some doors there coming out of the S's, but no, it was good. It was a good, clean fight. Really for Nick and I, we just wanted to play a little strategery there in the first stint and dip into the pits early on and kind of just tow there in the closing segment, or the opening segment, I should say. And then Kyle caught up with us there coming out of the pits, so made it a 3-person party. So it was good, clean fight, and looking forward to the second stint here. This should be good.
Sounds good. Well, I'll let you get back. Sorry to. Okay, I just have to find where your team is. You are Sad Boys. I just want to get this correct, right?
I am the sad boy.
Okay,
yeah.
I just wanted. I would be really bad if I put you back in the wrong team channel and you had to listen to I don't know, Robert McGinnis or something the rest of the race.
Yeah, no, nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, nobody wants to do that. All right, talk to you. We've got. I see in chat that we're getting a request for getting an interview from Brendan, so let's bring him up here. I think we got plenty of time if I can just find him. Okay. All right. Hey, Brendan, this is Matt and Gary in the booth. Got a copy?
Yep, I gotcha.
Yeah, well, you had a fan in the chat, and they were requesting your presence. So tell me how your race has been going. I mean, you qualified. What did you qualify? 3rd? So really good showing so far. Turn 1, though, you kind of got a welcome to Fuel Racing and got pushed into the grass. But tell us how it looked like from your point of view.
Yeah, unfortunately, there wasn't a lot to see from my end. It was a lot of I just pointed myself into the corner. I got the last second call that we were 3, and unfortunately there was nowhere to go but the grass once I made contact. So I had to go through there, and I got some time penalties from that. So I had to check back up. I think I was the last car in line, and then just clawed my way back through until I got back here. So hopefully now with the field all bunched back up together, and I'm hopefully not going to be 3 into turn 1. I should have a chance.
Yeah, a little bit easier with the single file, although, anybody can be a hero at that point. So, good seeing you. I know you're only going to be this week. That's why we had to have this interview with you. But, hey, maybe, you're doing pretty well. Maybe you will show up at another race later this season.
In the future. You never know.
Sounds good. Well, I'll get you back to your team chat, and have a good rest of your race.
Thank you so much. Hopefully I'll be talking to you later.
Yep, there you go. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Well, want to do another reading about our sponsors, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, good timing. Pre-Rim is a proud sponsor of the Fuel series here. Pre-Rim provides complete rim protection against curb rash, pothole damage, and imperfection to your wheels. Got 9 different colors to choose from. To learn more, go to PrioRimUSA.com. That's PRIORIM USA.com. Hope that's all in the description. And you can check them out. The winner of the series, the Fuel Series 2023 champion, will get a free set of the PrioRim technology to protect their rims of their personal vehicle upon completion of the season. Also, check out 4D Racewear, new sponsors for the remainder of the season starting today. Check out their line of made-for-simwear racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. I have a set of some of their shoes. I don't think they were. I think there might have been a beta, or why am I saying beta? I'm an IT guy, but they were. I don't think he actually sold them. I think it was something he was looking at, and I actually got a pair of those, and they held up well. Still have them. But visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click in their link in today's description to learn more. We're getting ready to go green.
We are getting ready to go. There was a quick caution there, and Robert McGinnis bringing us once again to a restart here.
Green flag,
going
green flag.
Green with about 17 minutes, 50 seconds left to play.
It's kind of a line of cars at this point.
Now they break out.
Will
down to the braking
jumps
zone.
out wide. Really good view from TJ Thompson here in P3.
McGinnis, Salisbury, Thompson, Escajeda, Burecroft, all top 5, all into one right there in that lead pack. Coming through the infield portion there of turn 4.
On to the Hallman Straight. Yeah, this is where we're gonna get a lot more racier than that first stint.
Yeah, I think a lot of them were just kind of pacing themselves. Oh, okay, we'll just, we'll get to that caution. Now it's time to go up to the money window and get that pay, because they are all going. We got 2 wide going through turns 8 and 9 there. Here we come to turn 10, right there in front of the Riley Children's Hospital Hospitality Suites.
And just a note,
onto the oval.
Robert McGinnis there. That is that Feline SimSport livery there. It's got some cat paws on it, and I do think the front hood has, I don't recall who it was, but it's got somebody's cat on the front. As Will Salisbury dives inside into turn 13, takes over the lead. Power move by Will.
So I believe the cats for the Feline Speed team are Chula and Lottie.
There you go. We've got some bump drafting by teammates there, trying to get past Robert McGinnis. Going for the lead is TJ Thompson.
Thompson, yeah, his teammate. Oh, we got a spinner in right there at the entrance to 1. Meanwhile, Thompson still has to lead his teammate. Now we're going to go 3 wide, going in the 3.
Oh, boy.
4. Burecroft now to the lead.
Yeah, we're going to have to get a look on what happened there.
That bump at the 5-6 chicane does nothing to these cars. It's like,
yeah,
unlike Indy cars, which will launch them into the air. These things are so lightly sprung.
So it looks like we have an incident between, Andrew Sauter, really hot into turn 1, hitting Kyle Kaiser. We will get one more view of this. Big time dive bomb.
I've been a victim the last couple of weeks. I think last week he had it, or 2 weeks ago, had an incident. Car off into the grass here in the turn 10-11 area.
We're going to head back to live pictures.
He was kind of a victim at Phillip Island, and I believe it was dubbed a racing incident.
Ooh, we've got a...
That's Thompson. So Thompson goes from the lead at the turn 1 to back to P9 when we get to turn 13 and 14.
That was some car control by him, though, getting that thing under control. Yeah, we're wild here at this point. All over the place. Well, Brendan, I don't know if we gave him some big-time motivation there with that interview, but he is now in the lead. And he's...
Brendan's from East Meadow, New York. He has multiple Northeast Regional karting championships. So he definitely... has the pedigree for this. Has been an iRacing member since 2010, so 13 years as a member on iRacing.
OG iRacing member.
Yeah, no kidding.
You can always tell, like, I see people's user IDs, so you can see them. And, like, for the first several years of iRacing, like, you'd only have 4 and 5 digits. Yeah, it's low numbers, but now everybody's like hundreds of thousands.
Well, all my time spent on IndyCar Racing 1 and 2 apparently is not credited to me. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, any of those leagues that we ran, we'd have to go out to archive.org to find any of those leagues we used to run on those kinds. I know like some of them, but I could never find them even on those. Of course, there's the, what was the one that had the track records? Was Sim Cyber World?
Yep.
Yep. So there's a site that has that stuff, though. That still exists to this day. So, Brendan, in the lead here. Robert McGinnis in P2. They're snaking down the front straightaway back for about 5th position.
So we got give or take about 10 laps, the computer's saying.
Yes, so TJ Thompson had that big bobble, but he's kind of back with this group.
Yeah, he's going to have to recover.
Yeah.
I think as some of these other cars ahead of him, and he's in 9th, as they start the race, the field will come back to him a little bit. But right now, he really needs to hope that starting back there in P5, Leo, Butler, and Hudson, and the other Butler brother. It's like having Winningtons here. Anyways, I hope they have a cleaner background than the Winningtons. But anyways, they need them to start racing.
That was a low blow, Gary.
I trust that they have a better family background.
Yeah, I would think so. It's not like, they'd be doing something else rather than pretend racing.
Got to launder that money somehow.
Yep. I wonder if Robert McGinnis might have learned something from Will Salisbury's move into turn 13, though, like that he's put into his, his mind, like, that's an awesome place to pass. So, although he's just thinking about doing it.
He's going to put here at the yard of bricks. Going to side by side, halfway down the main straight now. We're getting to the turn 1 braking area right about there. See the braking markers. And he pulls off that pass very cleanly.
And they're about like 3 wide, way in the back here. I'm getting this on the... Oh, we've got more contact. Max Butler around. He's not our birthday boy. So... that's unfortunate, but I will get a replay of that. We saw it right at the end. They were like 3 wide, almost 4 wide for about 6th position, and just a little bit of contact. They might have been some contact between teammates there. And unfortunately, I just got a call that Howard Rodriguez crashed as well. I don't know if it's a crash or it's a spin. Oh, well, he spun and then Jackson Ball hit him, so that's why it was a crash. All right. We'll head back to live pictures. Robert McGinnis in the lead. We'll go on board with our 4th place driver and Matt Escajeda.
Kind of give you an idea in the difference in speed here. McGinnis is fast, has the purple lap. He is currently the leader. Is a 1:41.297. The road course track record. Pull that back up here again. Had it on my screen.
Gotta be like
is Will Power. I believe it's a 120. It's a speed of 129.687.
It's gonna be like around a minute 10 or so.
Minute 10, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around that range.
And Will Power also is the undisputed king of the road course.
He really is, yeah.
Followed by Simon Pagenaud. Everyone kind of forgets about him. He has 3.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what he's doing next year in IndyCar.
I'm assuming that he's going to be in a car for Indy. It's hard to not give a former winner, even...
And a former recent winner, really. Yeah. I mean, it's only been, 5 years? So.
Yeah, he won in the new car, so...
Yeah.
He won, of course, the first winner in the new car, or in the new Aero kit, was Will Power in 18.
So, down the Holman Boulevard, I think that Will Salisbury was kind of bump drafting Brendan almost into the lead. Almost had a little bit of a bobble there, though, but everybody stays alive. Matt Escajeda there in P4 is just kind of biding his time. When somebody spins, he's going to inherit, a podium position, possibly the lead.
So McGinnis's time in miles per hour for this purple lap is 85.019 miles per hour. So
sounds about right.
Large difference, of course, as you would expect between these and the Indy cars,
But that is, that is a pretty good average speed for these cars. That's like, Yeah.
Well,
That's,
I don't think slower speed is indicative of poor racing. I mean, look at these guys. They're
Yeah.
1 through 4, cover them with a blanket, going into 1, about 7 laps to go, and we're side by side between Beercroft and McGinnis coming in that braking zone.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, you know, you're driving 85 miles an hour average in a production car. That sounds kind of scary to me. Like the end of the straightaway, they're probably going 120 at the end of the straightaway.
I had my Camaro more than 85 on the oval.
Yeah, but that was a Camaro, Gary.
And that was on the oval as well.
Yeah. Did you ever read that thing with it? I think there was some police or something that got in trouble. This has got to be almost 20 years ago now. Side by side into turn 7 there. Burkhoff might have pulled this off, still battling. Looks like McGinnis got the preferred line through there, but now
8, 9 into 10.
Brendan
and there you go.
had the preferred line.
Burkhoff there in 10, coming through 11. On the south end of the racetrack, going over the main entrance, right about there. Right in front of the Hall of Fame Museum. Got scoreboard that's there, that hexagonal scoreboard, that has been removed. That's no longer there. I believe the one at the north end of the racetrack has also been replaced.
Yeah, I believe so, which has been kind of annoying. Like, they've removed it, but haven't exactly added something else instead, so sometimes it's a little confusing to see the top 10 as a fan. I mean, sure, there's the TVs, but those are probably cycling through the entire field at times. So
Right.
Burkhoff, really strong showing here into the lead, although I think he had a little bit of help there. Not that he didn't do it on his own, but he did have some help. I have to imagine that Will here is kind of thinking, let's work together to get around McGinnis. McGinnis is fast, so.
Well, an interested spectator in all this, and probably wants to see him race harder, is Escajeda.
Yep.
He's sitting there P4. He's giving him a lot of room. I think he's just wanting to see what will happen in front of him when these guys start racing, as we are really starting to get to the crunch time of this. 6 laps to go. About 35:10 into this, so only about 5 minutes or so left to play. Actually, about 4 minutes or so left to play, I guess, give or take.
Let us quickly go through the other drivers in the field. We've got Leo in 5th, Thompson in 6th, who was leading at one point in time. Max Butler, P7, Andrew Sauter, P8, Joe Butler, P9, Jackson Ball, P10, Zach Hudson, P11, and our final runner here is Howard Rodriguez. He's still strong out here. Heading back up to the front. I think we're seeing a possible developing move for Will Salisbury here.
Yeah, showing Kyle Kaiser off in the pits. So he is
Yeah, I think he parked it, yep.
Yep.
Could have sworn that I saw Leo in the back there brush the wall on the front straightaway on the inside, but and Will Salisbury.
Race control to the lead. So right now, your biggest gainer actually is Escajeda. He is up 3.
Okay, yeah,
so
you're right.
This is working good for him. Of course, he's involved in this points battle, and if he can get some extra bonus points just by doing simple things as gaining the most spots in the race, that's 1 extra point. That will pay off at the end of the season here, with about a quarter of the season complete.
On board with Robert McGinnis here. I think this is one of the places we want to be in these final laps here. I'll tell you one thing. So on that turn, what number is it? It is turn 10. It is really asking you to cut that corner just a little bit, and you can get away with a lot. But you know, there's also at some point there you can get a slowdown, and that'll really, really kill you here.
Oh, 10, yeah, 10.
Yeah.
Yep, I know what you're talking about. 'Cause it looks like a bunch of dead space there. Like, oh, I'll just go ahead.
Yeah,
And
and you can cut a lot of it, but it's like, okay, you can cut almost half a car over it, and it's really good. But yeah, if you put the whole car over it, then you're getting a slowdown. McGinnis looks like he's about to have a run here, or he's just gonna bide his time. Hard on the brakes into turn 1. On my end, it looked like he brushed the wall on the left side. I even heard a sound, so might be some netcode contact, that kind of thing. You have to imagine if Brendan, you know, he's going to at least podium here, probably, unless something really bad happens, but he's going to be really happy with this showing here tonight. Going up and being very strong. Robert McGinnis inside into turn 7. Ooh. Might have been a little contact on there. I was on board, so I didn't quite see it. Robert McGinnis taking over that P2 position. We should be about into final lap territory. Let's keep an eye on that flag stand.
Sometimes it kind of surprises us.
Yeah, first week it really did. Ooh, Robert McGinnis really over that bump, that sausage curb in turn 12. Burkhoff having a really good
white flag.
Okay, final lap.
And Will is playing to the inside, close to the wall, protecting that wide line going in the 1. Burkhoff pushing McGinnis, trying to get that gap closer into the braking zone. All of them in the braking zone.
You might even bump draft the guy in front of you so much that he misses his braking point.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's certainly something I think about.
Through the infield portion of turn
4.
a
little bit hot for Salisbury there.
Yeah, and that's going to open the door for McGinnis side by side going into the chicane, coming out.
Oh,
look at this.
3 wide.
As he gets the inside portion of the corner. 3 wide down the home and straight, coming into the braking zone for turn 7. Who is going to bite first?
And then Matthew Escajeda, ooh, a little bit of contact there. He was blinking his lights back there to try to distract these drivers. Robert McGinnis takes the lead.
To the infield portion of turn 2 in the oval. Coming out in front of the hospitality suites. On to turn 11 and into the south short chute. Into the infield section of turn 1.
Final point. Whoa, we've got
a great entrance and exit there for Salisbury.
Wow.
Coming through at 12 into 13.
Oh, and Robert McGinnis into the grass.
And that might have just sealed it up for me. That just might have sealed it up for Salisbury, and might just costed McGinnis second place from Burkhoff. Burkhoff alongside.
I'm gonna have to rewatch this because I don't know.
I think Burkhoff got him.
I'm showing Robert McGinnis in P2.
I'm showing him too.
I'm gonna have to look at that pass here though, because I don't know where that came from. Like, I didn't expect it at all. Okay, we're getting a replay of this. I think that Robert McGinnis had a bobble into turn 12. Just a little slow on his exit of turn 12, giving Will Salisbury. I thought it was kind of done and dusted, and it was over, but it was not. What an awesome move. Well, we will get some interviews, and lucky for us, we're going to get our second interview with Brendan Burkhoff here tonight. We'll give them a moment,
results before we get somebody here in the booth. Salisbury, McGinnis, Burkhoff, your podium. Escajeda, another top 5. Leo, P5. TJ Thompson, Max Butler, and Sauter, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Joseph Butler, Jackson Ball, Zach Hudson, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Rodriguez, 12th, and Kaiser, 13th. That is your 13-car field here from Indianapolis.
All right, so we will bring up Brendan once again. Hey, Brendan. So you did it. You're on the podium.
I made it.
Well, what an exciting end to this race. I mean, you tell it to us from your point of view, but you were up there. I was like, we gave you some good mojo or something like that with that interview at the competition caution. But, you led quite a few laps. You were in it to the end. Tell us how it was from your end.
I knew after that first run I had pretty good speed. I was watching the time intervals and I could see I was keeping up. So I knew I'd have a shot once I got there. And then it was just the rest of the race was kind of just about timing it and just trying to figure out where you wanted to be on that last lap. And trying to make it exciting, really. And I don't know what happened. About 3 or 4 laps to go, Will hit me come out of one of the long sweeping right-handers, and I just never had the same straightaway speed after that. It was strange. So, I just couldn't catch back up to Will again. So I was just I knew at that point my only play was to let Rob try and get him and see if I get him side by side, maybe I can make a move, which I did. It didn't work out, but it was a lot of fun up there. I'm sure they'll say the same thing. That was absolutely a blast.
Yeah, it was pretty entertaining. I mean, at one point in time, we were like 3 wide. So, hey, any race that has a 3 wide for the lead, that's going to go down as a pretty memorable one. Anything to add, Gary?
No, I just that run to the finish. You almost had him. It was very razor thin. How much were you? Even though this is sim racing, ducking that head down to get that extra arrow to get to the finish line to beat McGinnis there at the end.
Oh, I'm a go-karter at heart. So I had that head tucked. I was hoping I could get anything I could get out. I was rocking the steering wheel. I'm doing whatever you can, and clearly I need to rock the steering wheel and put my head down about 1,000th more.
Well, congratulations, nevertheless. Thanks for showing up tonight, man. You made tonight pretty exciting, and we hope to see you again later in the season.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, hey, before I let you go, though, any shout-outs to anybody? Sponsors, family, friends, that kind of thing?
I'll shout out whoever shouted me on the chat. And my teammate TJ and I'm sure you guys will talk about it at some point in the interviews or post race or something. But that movie made from 3rd to 1st there was insane. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
We were losing in our team chat. So yeah, that's about it.
All right. Well, I hope to see you, at another event here. I know maybe your work or something like that. Will was saying that you usually have to work, I think, on Tuesday nights, but we hope to see you again.
Hopefully get another Tuesday off.
All right. I'll talk to you again hopefully soon.
Yep. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Yeah, that margin of the position there for over P2 was 0-0-1. That's how close it was. That's why it looked like Beercroft from my point of view, at least from the camera, but computer says otherwise.
I'm not seeing Robert McGinnis. Am I just not seeing him, or is he not in the voice chat?
I'm not seeing him.
Why don't I just bring up Matt Escajeda then for 4th?
All right.
I'll do that, and then I'll bring Will up here. Oh, I just moved him to the wrong channel. Hey, Matt, this is Matt and Gary in the booth. There was I didn't see Robert, so I just thought, hey, I'll bring P4 in here. You had a good view of everything.
I sure did. So those guys were battling each other so hard, throwing each other offline, that I just seriously sat back for the last 10 minutes. Just keeping in touch with them.
I figured that's what you were doing.
Yeah, me too.
Gaining
the best seat in the house.
Yeah, every braking zone, I just caught like another half second or a second on him and just stayed right there, which is surprising. No one else caught us. I guess I'll find out all the mayhem that happened behind me, but I can't believe Nick and so on didn't catch me. But yeah, and then I don't know what the hell happened on this entrance of the chicane, I think, on the last lap. Why everybody slowed down, and then I slammed into Brendan for no reason. He didn't even hit anything. I already watched the replay. I don't know. Maybe you guys know something I don't.
We're as baffled as you are.
and then it kind of threw me offline, and I had to back off a little into the very last left-hander there, and I could have got Robert and Brendan if I didn't do that because I couldn't see the apex. So little kicking myself a little bit for that. But otherwise, that was a lot of fun. I didn't know what was going to happen there.
Yeah, this track puts on some pretty good racing. You are the biggest mover of today, so I believe that is worth some bonus points. Good getting you in here. I hope we got your name correct this week. I know this has been a thing. It's embarrassing, but a little bit of, we're trying to get it right. And then we get it in our minds, like the wrong one in our mind. And then we start repeating that one. And like that whole thing goes on in the brain. So I apologize for that from both me and Gary, first 2 races of the season. But great having you here. Any shout outs to anybody before you go?
I just want to shout out to Jackson Ball. He's helped me a lot, and he invited me to this league last season, and he's been a lot of help for me, and nice guy all around. So I just want to give him a shout out.
Sounds good. Well, we will talk to you next week. Probably we're at Barber, so another strong track. So. I will bring up our winner, unless just double checking that Robert isn't here.
I do not know.
Yeah. Hey, Will, this is Matt and Gary in the booth. Well, that was a pretty exciting one. I don't know where your move came in. I guess Robert had a little bobble into turn 12, and you took big advantage of that.
Yeah, it was a hell of a race. Hats off to Rob and hats off to Brendan for showing up first race and putting on a show with us. That was fun up front. Matthew Escajeda as well up there in the mix. We were going back and forth, and honestly, it was going to be really kind of it could have been anyone's race up there at the front. Just who was leading at the right time at the right moment to be able to get that run coming off the last corner. I think in just briefly talking to Rob, he had thought that the last lap was actually the lap prior, so he kind of stuck it on the inside there and didn't quite make it, and I was able to pull more of a gap going into that last lap. And man, I'll tell you, I've been in that situation many times leading into the last lap, which usually not quite where you want to be in some of these big draft tracks. And I just told myself, all right, you got one lap, don't screw it up. And what did I do? For 1 out of 100 times I screwed it up. Going into turn 3, I think it was, the back end just came around and Rob was able to get beside me, and it was 3 wide going down that backstretch. Honestly, it could have ended in tears for all of us, but we're all pretty respectful, and for the most part we gave each other just enough room to be able to get through there. And honestly, I thought at that point, once Rob was able to weasel his way up to the front, as he always does, I thought that was it. I thought, once again, here we go. We're going to let Rob steal another victory from our hands. And in just kind of chatting with him, I think he got a slowdown penalty in the right-hander leading on to that little short shoot. So he unexpectedly had to check up.
We were talking about that.
We were talking about that. I mentioned that. Yeah, you could get one.
I wasn't expecting that. Going into the last little chicane there, definitely knew he was going to hit the brakes hard. I knew he was going to try and check up to get me to hit him, and he could kind of take off and scoot away. But when he just put on the binders and then didn't move, it was like, all right, well, I'm going to commit now. And then he just kind of got going. I didn't really think much of it. I thought he might have missed a gear or had something malfunction, but that corner cut will get you, because that got me earlier in the race.
Yeah,
thankfully, it was close enough that you're able to draft back up, but it's really tricky when you're pushing to the limit, and especially when you're behind a car very closely. The margin for error there is very minimal when you're running over the curb the way we were. So all in all, it was a great race. Obviously, I'm super ecstatic to be able to come away with the pole and victory. Didn't even think I was going to run tonight. Race control showing up and snatching victory from Rob McGinnis. I feel good about that one. So overall, it was a great night. It was great racing out there. Hopefully everyone had fun.
Yeah, it was a really good, it's like, Gary and I, we know this track pretty well. We know it always puts on a good show. We have tracks like Phillip Island 2 weeks ago where, that track, it might not put on the best, but in these cars, it puts on a great race. But you come to a track like this, then it's going to be, just kind of, I don't want to call it pack racing, but it's going to be nose to tail, a lot of that kind of thing. And it was a great race, and it totally makes sense. We had talked about it earlier. That turn 10 is what it is. You can take a lot of that curb, but you just take just a little bit too much, you get that slowdown, and it's just like killer at that point.
It really is, because
yeah.
it costs you more than what the time that you're gaining is. Honestly, that's just how it is in iRacing. Just one of the things you have to live with there in the way they dish out the penalties. But it's a killer for him. I know he jumped out of here as soon as he could. He didn't want to have to face the music, but he's a good guy. He's a good driver, and we all know he can win. So it feels good to be able to dethrone him for 1 week at least.
Well, he did have the fastest lap still, so that he had that. Like early on in the race, he had. I think when you were leading in the first stint, like before the competition caution, yeah, he had like a big run and just like lifted off. At the end of the straightaway, he was just biding his time. But that's when he set his fastest lap, so he had some help.
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling he was going to do that. I was setting my qualifying laps up in that front, and I knew he was just drafting up. So I'm like, well, he's going to have some monster laps behind me and just kind of bide his time while he can, save some fuel. I decided to pit a little earlier, see if that would make any sort of a difference, and it really didn't, because my pitch stop seems to be super slow, as always. I haven't quite figured that one out yet, but thankfully it's not too much of a factor once we have the comp yellow. But
I had a theory about that. Do you use the auto fuel thing?
I do, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So my guess is that this is going to take some strategy away from Robert. I think because he knows there's a caution coming up, he will take whatever that auto fuel is going to do and like drop it down a gallon or whatever it is, just because he knows he's going to save 2 or 3 laps of fuel. And he's going to get that slower pit. So
he must have it figured out more than I do, because I tried doing that tonight for the first time and thought I was, being strategic and taking advantage there, and he still gapped me by 3 seconds.
Yeah, it was literally in the box. I had it here. So I think if I can pull it up. So he had an 8.4 seconds in the box, and you had 11.3. So
that'll do it.
Yeah, exactly. He had the. Actually, Escajeda also had it 8.3. Actually, Robert was 8.4. Everybody else was like, 11 seconds, like you were. So, yeah, heck of a race out here tonight. Awesome victory. You're gonna have a little bit of work to do on race control and watching that replay. I know you got to do that. We had a little bit of contact, through the field. So. That'll
that's the next hat I put on. Once I go through the hat dance up on the IMS stage, then we'll spray some champagne and then head over to the media center and put on my race control hat.
Gary, he said that he was gonna spray champagne and not milk.
Oh, that's
okay.
It's a road course. Yeah, it's okay.
All right. Yeah, he's not going to go full fidelity on it.
Yeah, we can't go too far. But all in all, it was a great race, and like we said, when we came up with the schedule at the beginning of the year, we ran GT3 cars previously, so our mindset was really in that when coming up with these tracks, and we didn't quite know how these GR86 cars would run. Obviously, it's been very pack dominant, and with these big long tracks, you're going to get that. And I don't think you'll get as much next week in Barber, but or possibly CTMP, but certainly some tracks along the way. We're going to get more of this type of pack racing, which honestly is a lot of fun. It puts less on. Puts more on the driver to be precise and to be strategic about your moves and kind of playing some chess matches. So it's been fun so far. Hopefully everyone's enjoyed it. And shout out to all of our sponsors out there. Pre-Rim coming on. I know they're having a big show out at SEMA right now. They had some rims out there on a Lamborghini. If you haven't been able to check out their social, check out their social. They offer some great aluminum rim protectors for all sorts of high-end sports cars and personal cars as well. So check them out. And recently we had 4D Racewear come on board. Just finished up, putting that deal together shortly before this race. So they're going to be handing out a set of their sim racing shoes to a driver in the series. So we'll stay tuned for a little more information surrounding that. But always great to have more people come on board, and of course Steph Wilson, great friend of ours, contributing as well. So shout out to all of our great partners for being part of the Fuel Series, and hopefully everyone's been able to enjoy it so far, watching and driving.
Yeah, great race from our standpoint. A great victory. You didn't make it look too easy because you had to work, get back up there, and make some passes, and that made it really interesting. But hey, we're gonna be at Barber. I'm just looking at our schedule here. Barber next week, then Petite a couple weeks after that. I'm really, really looking forward to USA International. that's my. It's just like, yeah, it's great.
There might be some more things associated with that. That might be a slightly different format from what we're used to. So
Okay, great.
stay tuned for more information, and if that event is a success, you'll be sure to see more of that type of racing going forward if that event is successful. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. We have a lot of good races coming up, and it's going to be a good season.
Okay, great. Well, I'll let you go. You'll put your race control hat on after you finish the champagne, and we'll take this broadcast out.
Cheers. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep. All right. I just got the schedule on here. So November 14th, week from now, Barber, the Birmingham Brawl. So I think that these cars will do a great job at Barber. It won't be like, a draft race, but I think these cars can kind of go anywhere on the track, and that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, there's two pretty long straights there. And then, of course, a couple, 3 or 4 pretty good braking zones, maybe to keep things close. So it should be interesting to see. I've never seen anything but an IndyCar on Barber, so this will be new, and probably learn something by watching these cars that aren't as powerful, and a little bit more of what's in the driver's foot versus kind of the what you have for an aero package, and like when it comes to IndyCar. So I think next week will be fun. I think everyone should stick around and watch it. Make sure if you're watching today, make sure to like, subscribe, and everything to the channel, and like the video. That always helps things out. We really appreciate it. And looking forward to next week. Had a fun time. Glad to be here.
I was just going to say one more thing before we were going to take this out. And I was going to say Will Power probably has the track record there, but he does not. Patricio O'Ward does. So never mind what I was going to say there. But thanks, everybody, for watching. Thanks, Gary, for joining me. And we'll see everybody back here next week. Same time, same place. Thanks for watching.
See ya.